Hi everybody, this is All Things Engineering with Randy Kaufman, and like I would like to ask everybody to subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, especially if you like the video. And I started creating a lot. This is a new channel. I've been a professional engineer in my state for about 20 years and or more, and more than 20 years. So I know a lot of things about engineering, especially construction. So the one I want to cover today is never ever buy a house in the front of the lake, because this is not a lake, by the way. As you see, this is a picture of it at night with a fountain going. At times the fountain would broke and they had to repair it and stuff. Now the reason they put a fountain here is because this is to keep the mosquitoes down, because it keeps the water moving, plus it helps keep the algae some down. But this is the one place you never want a house. I mean, you may go and say, oh, well, this is a beautiful lake. And, and I got a house right in front of me. I can look out the front door at this pretty lake. Well, you're not going to do that a lot. And the thing is, you're not going to think that lake is pretty, and you're not going to like that lake once that thing is sitting in your living room. And I've seen it flood 3 or 4 of these homes here. Now, they built this thing about 20 years ago, is when they built this retention pond. Once the engineer goes in, he looks at all the property, and what happens is, like a big old farmer's field that this thing used to be, it had like a 30% runoff coefficient. I mean, 30% of your water as it falls runs off. Most of it soaks in the ground because you got all these, when you have farmers and we have this farmland with all this grass and stuff growing, a lot of the water will soak in. The grass keeps the water from moving, so it gets time to soak into the ground. And I live in the southeastern part of the United States, and we get tremendous rainfalls from the Gulf. And so you've got like South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, all of us gets a lot of rain from all this. Even up into Tennessee, Arkansas, they all get a good bit of rainfall. You're talking about a 100-year flood is like over 6 inches of rain. That's a lot of rainfall. Where I'm at now, the 100-year flood is like 14 inches. I mean, because we have the hurricanes down here and they come in and it just drops a tremendous amount of water. Now, as you'll look, the water, they have to keep it from running off, because you don't want, where's the water going to go to? It's going to go out onto the county roads, and it's going to go, and it's going to flood those, it'll flood the roads, it's going to go to wherever it's lowest. It may go over to a lower subdivision down the road and flood that like crazy. Well, there's laws against that. You can't produce this land like that anymore. So what you've got to do is you've got to build these ponds that hose the water and feed the water off at a slow rate. But now, as time goes by, what happens is that you'll look, there's trees about halfway around this pond. Well, the leaves fall into it, the limbs fall into it. And you may think, well, how big that pond is, that's not a lot that's going to fill it up. But you've got all these homes. There's probably 140, 150 homes around this thing. And all those homes, they cut the grass every week, all summer long. The leaves fall off the trees from these houses. And, and where do they go to? They go down, eventually they're going to go down into your curb and gutter and into your pipes that are underneath that all go into this pond. And then all that stuff and it's not a lot, but it'll start filling up the pond at the bottom. And the more it fills that up, the more chance you're going to have of it flooding. So the older these things get, the worse it gets. And everybody pays an HOA fee and all that, but they're worried about cutting the grass, planting flowers. They're worried about, keeping the pool up and the pools and the pool chairs and the lounge chairs for that. I've seen them buy, like go kart, like, golf carts and stuff, and, just silly stuff that they waste up because they all sit down, oh, we got this much money and we got extra money with them. So they vote on different things that they can spend it on. And when they should, but they're not engineers and they don't think about this. Well, what they should be thinking about is that retention pond is going to fill up and eventually they're going to have to dredge it. But dredging a pond, especially something that big, is extremely expensive. So they're not going to think about it. And if they do, they're not going to do it because it's going to cost too much money. So it's going to fill up. And three or four of those homes, they had to tear the sheetrock out, the flooring out. And of course, when the real estate people went and sold them the house, they didn't tell them about all this. They go, oh, you've got this beautiful lake out here. But they want to sell the house. They want to get their commission. They're not going to tell you the downsides of being close to that lake. They're not going to tell you, well, about 2 or 3 times a year, the road here will flood so deep that you can't drive down it. So you're going to have to park your car about a half a mile before you can get to your house because it'll drown your car out. It's so deep. So you're going to park it about a half mile back up the road here where it's higher, and you're going to have to get out in the rain. You're going to have to walk to your house. They're not going to tell you the truth about it. And I drove down through there, and I've got a Jeep, and it was so deep. There was so much water, and it got so deep in front of these people's houses. I would not even take a Jeep down through there because it was already up just about to the bottom of my floorboards. And I was like, and I turned around and I went back and I was going to try to film some of that, but it was just incredibly deep, full of water in the road even. And, because we have the hurricanes come in and there's at times we have huge storm systems that come in. But this is absolutely not a place you want to be. You want to be on the higher part of the ground of a subdivision because you're not going to get flooded. You're not going to have the water damage. And flood insurance is extremely high. And if you don't buy it, you're going to have to pay for all those repairs yourself. And plus, it's dangerous because the water gets up that high, it can get into your wire and it can short circuit out. It's just a terrible place to be at. But guys, I hope you liked the video. Remember to give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to the channel. And, I've got a lot more that I'm fixing to post up. And I hope this gave you some information that may be useful to you. And thanks for watching.